Did I actually tell you how I got kicked out of my house?
From your mom?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on the episode?
No, you didn't say it on the episode. You told me personally.
Okay. Mom said, Josh, you can live with me.
Hold on. Josh has now moved out of Spanish Trail, and she has this beautiful, like, studio-style 2-story loft.
Yes. Yep. Up on, cool loft.
And this
Open ceilings.
It was a significant upgrade, right, from Spanish Trail? Mm-hmm. So I think your mom had a level of pride there.
Yeah, and she had a level of pride, and she was like, I'm not fucking with this kid anymore. He's 18. He's going to make his own decisions. And I'm not going to be the result of the decision. I'm not going to bear the consequence of his decisions. So she gave me 2 rules. Don't shower in my shower, because, of course, she built a badass shower. And I'm 18 and couldn't help myself. And don't leave the garage door open.
Simple.
Secure my property and don't go into my personal property.
And what did you do?
I showered in a shower as often as possible, and I left the garage door open all the time.
So you violated the rules.
I violated the rules. I turned 18, maybe a week or 2 goes by. I come home, and there's a letter on the kitchen counter, and it says exit plan. You know where that triggered, too, because in the home contract, there was a term in the event that, like, DEFCON 5 happened or whatever. I don't even know the term, but, something, it was bad. It was called an exit plan, and you had to have it. Dear Josh, I love you unconditionally. However, I'm summarizing this. However, it's your 18th birthday. You are an adult. I've asked you to follow 2 rules, and you did not follow 2 rules. This is your exit plan. You have 30 days to get out. So me, being the type of personality that I am, I didn't wait 30 days. Bro, fucking grabbed my shit that day and left and said, fuck you. And I did. And I didn't talk to her for 6 months.
Okay, so now that you're an adult, did you choose to leave your mom's house, or did she kick you out?
I chose. That's what I think is important, that we go back to the seminar conversations in the previous episodes. I chose. Everything in your life you choose. You know what I'm saying? Like everything. And if you start living in a space of accountability unconditionally, which is very difficult, and I would say that I practice it because I've certainly not perfected it, then you start putting yourself in a position to have a lot less bad things happen, because you realize that if something goes bad, the only person you can blame is you, and then you don't really want to blame yourself anymore. It's easy to, when you live this victim life, you'll just fucking create chaos all around you because it's never your fault.
The world hates you.
The world hates. Like what a fucking crazy statement.
The world doesn't give a shit.
The world doesn't. There's no opinion.
Yeah,
it's a neutral. We're all living in like it's not a breathing thing with a brain that has an emotional component that injects its opinion on humans.
He's got the magnifying glass on you.
The victim mindset's got to be the most debilitating mindset for any human being trying to accomplish anything. But even forget accomplishing big things. If you just simply want to be happy, just find peace in your life. You cannot live your life through victimhood.
No, not at all.
It's debilitating when it's everybody else's fault around you. And you guys, anybody listening, if you want to know if you're living in a space of victim, ask yourself, is the outcome of your life your fault? If the answer is no, then you're a victim.
Absolutely.
That's simple. That's it. It's a simple fucking question, and you're gonna either be honest with you or not. And I have to live it often. You know, I'll have issues with relationships in my office, whether it's employees, whether it's friends, whatever it is. And as frustrated as I want to be at them, I have to ask myself, what am I doing to put myself in a position to endure this level of frustration? That's me being accountable. I have to blame myself. You ever watch The Prophet?
I've seen it.
That's the most sobering show to watch as a business owner, because he goes into the business, it's failing, it's all this and that. They need money. The business owner thinks he's doing everything right. Employees fucking hate the owner, or at least there's a lot of resentment. And he sits everybody in a room and he goes, what's the problem? And he goes down the line, he asks all the employees, and then the business owner, and then he looks at the business owner and goes, this is your fault. And whether it is or isn't, or logically is or isn't, it is, because it is his job to create an environment that is profitable. So it doesn't really matter if he's got shitty people around him or not, that it's his fault that he has shitty people around him. It doesn't matter if he has great people around him that aren't productive. It's his fault that he has great people around him that aren't productive. Yeah. Everything is his fault. And so
But he's blaming his employees.
But he's blaming his employees.
Yeah.
Yeah. No victimhood. No victimhood. I'm really glad we just touched on that.
But there's a way that I've realized with my family, they're extreme victims all the way down the line. And then what I've realized is what I tell people is like when someone calls you out on something and the immediate feeling you feel in your stomach is like this pit of they're right, and your number one reaction is to defend yourself with an excuse you've already created in case that situation came up, you're being a victim. Like, that's the time where you're like, you know what, I fucked up. And that is a way more fulfilling path of life because you can move on from it.
Right.
You don't hold the guilt. I
point.
fucked up. If you're just constantly making excuses and becoming the victim, eventually when you're older, like, you've got a baggage full of shit that you're just carrying with you that you've never let go.
Why would you let it go?
Because you've never fucking owned up to it.
It's everybody else's fault and they fucked you. Think how heavy that bag is by the time
it's fucking unreal.
Yeah.
And I see it as older I get, I can pinpoint those people that have never let it go.
Yeah. You're totally right. You can watch it in their body language.
Oh, yeah. And the older they get, it just gets more and more depressing. And it eventually, you're drinking wine or whiskey at 50 years old in the bar, yelling at the young kids because they're playing shitty music. And that's kind of a path that you're going to go down.
I think that's actually the better way to summarize this, what we're talking about here. There's two things that can happen. You could truly be fucked. It's someone could fuck you over. Someone can hurt you is probably a better term. That's very real.
Yeah, it happens.
And then there's you put yourself in a position to where something bad happened to you. You put yourself in a position to have something bad happen to you. And then there's you have genuinely been hurt by a third party and you are a true victim. But the reality is either way, you got to move on from both scenarios. You carry either one, and that just adds up. Good visual. So
your mom.
So mom boots me.
Ultimatum.
Yeah.
You chose. I'm gone.
Yeah. So I'm always analyzing how I'm thinking. You got to remember, I came from Mexico, where my brain is now a hyper analytical machine. It's very aware of what it's feeling. It's very aware of everything. It's almost too aware of everything, because I didn't have enough practice in the real world on how to use that machine. So everything is very sensitive. So I call my friend. I go, hey, bro, I need a place to move. And he's like, dude, I have a 3-bedroom apartment. I only have 3 bedrooms. I'm like, okay, well, you want to save some money on rent? I was like, I'll just set up a makeshift bedroom in the corner of your living room.
Just like a shower curtain or something.
So I'll explain what I did there. I had to get the approval. He gave it to me. And then I'm like, okay, cool. How can I create a makeshift room? So I go to Salvation Army, which is coincidentally right here, this one. And I buy a metal frame, a twin box spring, and a twin mattress. And then I go to Home Depot, and I took the galvanized steel tubes, the plate with the holes around the top and the threads in the middle, stuck it on the ceiling, zip, 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 and then did a T-bar. I built basically a shower curtain type thing, but I used galvanized steel. That's why I went into detail instead of a shower curtain. And then I took drapes from Walmart or whatever it was and created a makeshift bedroom. And I paid him $265 a month. So, of course, at the moment, I'm invigorated. I did it. I'm out on my own. I got this. Well, they all enjoyed the smoking weed, which is all good. But at the time, that was a little bit taboo. And me, being fresh from Mexico, being told never to be around that stuff, I literally just planted my body in the middle of there's weed crumbs all over the table and smoking weed in the house, and there's hot boxing everywhere. I still didn't participate in it just because I wasn't part of it. It didn't do anything for me. It still doesn't to this day. But anyway, so I'm sitting there, and I'd been there probably for a few months. I'm starting the invigorating feeling of I got out of my mom's house and I'm doing it on my own is starting to kick in. It's like I'm coming home. It's a shitty environment to be in. I'm like starting to realize, dude, you're living in you're living in an apartment. There's never any parking. And then I parked in a bad spot one time. This guy parks behind me. I couldn't get out. It was a fucking fight. And then the next day, whatever it was. And then I'm sitting I'm realizing that the quality of life I'm living is very poor.
And I'm sure the bathroom is perfectly clean.
Oh, right. I didn't think about the bathroom.
Terribly.
Oh, yeah. Fuck. Didn't even think about the bathroom. Can't imagine what that looked like. So anyway, I'm starting to get worn on. I go to bed one night. I hear, I think we're just talking candid here, and there's all adults. listening. I hear sex. So I'm like thinking, geez, one of these guys are fucking right in the living room. And so I pull back the curtain and I see that there's porn on the TV. And then I see a guy propped up on like a bean bag, for example, right in front of the... Thankfully, he wasn't like up on the couch, up against the wall where like my line of sight was. I just remember seeing a silhouette in a bean bag. And
he was doing what we all know he was doing.
Yeah, I suspect he was doing what we all know he was doing. Right in front of you. Yeah, right in the living room thinking I'm asleep. In my living room bedroom. Anyway, at that moment, it was an incredible observation of what I was feeling in that moment. And it was something that I never wanted to have happen again. So if you're uber aware and bad things happen to you and you're aware of them, then you will create a life that ensures that you don't have to feel those feelings again. That is what our bodies are about, creating safety mechanisms. But in that moment, what it was is I fucking literally let the curtain go. I put my head back quietly and I sit there and I go, I had 2 fucking rules to follow. And I could be sleeping in a safe, clean... You can only imagine how clean and safe that my mom's house was. Probably beautiful.
And she had a spa.
Right, spa.
That was beautiful.
Food.
Yeah.
You know. And I sat back and I was humbled immediately.